Good morning, happy Thursday. My name is Nayoka Lynn. So I want to answer a question. What do you mean by a loop? What do you mean by a loop? A loop is something, repetitive action. It doesn't have to be the very same situation showing up. It's just a similar situation showing up and you have a repetitive belief and action about it. Where does this stem from? Well, let's just say, for instance, maybe as a child, something traumatic happened and you had to fight your way out of it. You had to be your own hero and fight your way through it. Okay. Or say that somebody you loved and trust betrayed you. Really bad. That was my little situation. So let's use that because I can talk about it freely. I went through a situation where my trust in somebody was totally breached. I was betrayed. It was one of my parents that did something horrible to me, and the other parent just didn't care. And it scarred me, and I didn't realize to what degree it did. I went through a good portion of my life feeling like I couldn't really trust those who I cared about because they might betray me. So I never really went fully in. I will say there were two people in my life that I felt I could trust. One was my grandmother. The other one was my aunt. And I didn't question their love for me. I didn't. But everybody else, I wasn't quite sure. So this feeling that people that you get close to betray you stuck with me. So I had a belief about that. It was driven by fear. It was driven by horrible memories of things. And lo and behold, people that I cared about started to betray me one way or another. And I couldn't understand. People would just side up with other people that lied on me. And I would sit there and I'd say, my God, you know me. How could you believe this to be true? I went through so many different situations where I felt betrayed. And then back in 2020, after my hip surgery, I had a lot of time on my hands. And I came across this one woman online, and she was talking about shadow work. She asked, do you find a repetitive situation in your life, that you have to keep experiencing over and over again? So she was talking about shadow work. Shadow work, embracing your shadow, sitting with your shadow. Your shadow is just your negative-based beliefs that are controlling your life. And they do. Yeah, they do. Your beliefs will determine how your life turns out. Yeah. So it's important to address your belief system. I sit there, when something shows up, I sit there and I think, okay, do I have a belief about this kind of situation? Is it me, or am I just witnessing it? Or what is going on with me? I search myself on a daily. It's important. It's so easy, isn't it? And I think it's preferred by many to just sit back and say, they are the problem. They wronged me. I didn't do anything to them. They wronged me. No accountability in anything. You say, accountability? What do you mean? I was doing this and I was this and I was that. What I mean about accountability is search your beliefs. I'm telling you, you are a powerful master, manifester. You are. You are manifesting 24/7 every second of the day. What are you manifesting? I had to look at that. I went through so many situations, people, that just broke my heart. And I couldn't understand why. Why in the world would they think this about me or feel this way about me or do this to me? I could never understand. I had a very dear friend who said, I just don't understand, Nikki, how you attract these, well, she didn't say attract, how these people in your life just keep doing you dirty like this. I don't understand. Well, look, I'm no perfect saint. I'm not. And how I responded in a lot of those things was probably not the best. And that creates loops too. So if I have a belief about something, and every time a situation comes up, like I had a belief about betrayal. So every time I got close to somebody or something, a part of me would step back and watch. Now I have an expectation that you might betray me because, hey, it's happened before. So I believe this. So I'm going to start watching for every little red flag. I am going to be hyper vigilant about everything. But I believe that somewhere, somehow, you're going to betray me. Well, you're going to. You're going to. And once that is over, okay, so say somebody's betrayed me, I get away from this person. I've just blamed them. See, they're a bad person. They betrayed me. I knew this was going to happen. Well, I'm done with them. So I move along and I get involved with another person. I've never addressed my belief system to that point. So I'm looking at it like everybody's wrong. They just keep hurting me. I'm the victim. I am the victim. They keep hurting me. Well, that carries on and carries on and carries on until you sit your butt down and say, why is this happening? Because every situation that has happened to you where you feel like you're a victim, there you were. You were part of that situation. It keeps happening over and over and over again. If you believe that you have to fight and attack people because they've hurt you, I wasn't fighting and attacking people, but I'm just using that as an example. If you feel like you have to fight people physically and attack them before they attack you, if someone's hurt your feelings and you have to just get really ugly about it and start attacking them with your words, attacking them with your actions, because they hurt you, you've created a loop. And it's ongoing until you recognize why this is happening, until you really sit down and take accountability of where you're at, your participation in this whole equation. Until you actually sit down and do that, you're in a loop. It's going to keep happening over and over and over again. Doesn't have to be the same person, doesn't have to be the same house, doesn't have to be the same city, state, country. No matter where you are, there you are. Everywhere I go, there I am. Your beliefs give off a frequency. You're emitting a frequency. You're attracting like things. I like the analogy that some use about if you are tuned into a radio station that plays country music, but you're trying to find, say, rock and roll. But if you're tuned into country, you're going to hear country. If you are tuned into a belief that people can't be trusted, that people are going to betray you, that you must strike out, or you must fight somebody to teach them a lesson, or whatever, until you realize you're playing the victim, okay, it's going to keep happening. You have to examine your beliefs. And I've heard the argument over and over again, but it keeps happening. Yes, then it will. And the lesson tends to get louder until you learn it. I've watched people in families fight each other back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because they have a belief that they are right. They are right. Nobody sits back and looks at themselves, but it's the other person that's wrong. Now look, maybe the other person has wronged you somehow. Maybe they didn't understand where you were coming from because they were too protected over themselves and their beliefs and their wounds. It happens all the time. All the time. All the time. So may I suggest, if you don't want to be stuck in a loop, you're never stuck. Everything is a choice. And you can use your argument that, well, it just keeps happening, and I don't see how I did this because I did this and this and this to make everything wonderful, and they still did this, and then, I had to fight my way. I had to protect myself. I had to fight back. I want them to feel the way I feel. They betrayed me, or they hurt me, or they said this about me, or they took this from me. Now I must make them feel the way I feel. Only problem with that is, I know an individual right now. Only problem with that right now is then they sit back in their quiet time and they're destroyed. They're hurt. Not only are they hurt by the other person striking out at them, they are hurt at how they struck back. But they'll defend that with everything they've got. But yeah, that's a loop. A repetitive situation. Doesn't have to be the same person, like I said, or the same town, city, state, country. Somebody, something is going to show up and mirror that belief that you've got going on inside of you. May I suggest, before that belief totally consumes you, may I suggest you sit down, take a look at it. How do I feel about this? What is my belief system about this? How does this feel every time this happens? Because I'm going to tell you something. It may not feel good afterwards. You might feel justified and everything else. You might feel good, like you've conquered something while it's happening. How do you feel afterwards? How does the whole thing in a nutshell feel? Usually it sucks. Sit down, take accountability, search your beliefs. How do I believe about this situation? Is this belief serving me? Or do I feel like I was right? I was right to believe this. I was right to strike out and protect myself. I was right in saying what I said. They deserved it. Stuck in a loop. You're going to repeat it over and over again. How many times have I heard people say, oh, I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired. Well, examine your beliefs. Examine your beliefs. Do you really want to keep going round and round and round that merry-go-round? Every time you react the same way, negatively, to a situation, it's like putting that little quarter in that merry-go-round. You're going around again. The situation will present itself to you again. It doesn't have to be the same people, or it might. Don't have to be the same place, or it might. The situation shows itself if you react and respond the same way. If you do it, nothing changes. Nothing changes. You're going around again. Yeah, and the lesson tends to get louder until you've learned it. You set it up this way, Master Creator. You set it up this way because you knew upon entering that you had this guidance system. You knew your emotions, your feelings would show you where you were at or how you felt about a certain situation, how you felt about people, how you felt about whatever. You knew that your emotions would help you. You knew upon entering that everything, everybody mirrors you one way or another. You had a guidance system to help you along your path. So sit down. If you don't like what keeps happening, If you don't like it, your brain needs to be rewired. What do you mean? Yeah, that was weird when I learned that. I have this belief about something. It's like you're coded. I have this belief about something, and I just, and I believe it. Well, how do I just stop believing it? Sometimes it takes courage. hmm Well, I just know they're going to hurt me, and okay, don't react the same way. Sit back and see what happens. Get busy about doing something you enjoy instead. Don't sit there and let the fear eat you up. hmm Yeah. A lot of times we get into situations and we just start assuming all kind of horrible things in our heads. I told somebody yesterday, don't predetermine how something is going to play out, because if you really believe that, it's going to play out that way. Your belief system, you are powerful. You are a powerful master creator. That's why you're here in this earth school. You are powerful. Okay, you are a master manifester. What are you manifesting? Get in touch with your guidance system. It's there to serve you. It's there to serve you. Examine your beliefs. All right, time for breakfast. Don't get stuck in those loops. Yeah, they go round and round and round till you learn the lesson. That's what you're here for. To explore, to see the world, to play, to laugh, to cry. That's what you're here for. All right, it's time for breakfast. My name is Nayoka Lynn. I hope you enjoy this beautiful day. Namaste.